Well, it is time now to get your legal questions answered. So go ahead and give us a call at 256-536-0077. You already know who this is. This is Heath Brooks with our friends over at Timberlake Lee and Brooks. He joins us now this morning, and we're going to talk about some of that storm damage while we wait for you all to give us a call.
Very nice to be here.
I'm glad you were here. So we talked about the storm damage that happened last week. You've seen the pictures, some of the videos. It is crazy. So now we need to know the legal ramifications of stuff like that.
You know, I was driving from my office to come up here today, drove through trees still down, drove through house damage. You know, those are the kinds of things that when you have damage to your property, you got to call your insurance company. Take a lot of photos of what the damage is. What's going to end up happening is your insurance company is going to send an adjuster, and an adjuster is just short for somebody who determines the value of your claim. They're going to send an adjuster out, and that adjuster is going to come up with a value. But you need to be prepared, you know, as one of my old partners said, be on the nose of the dog rather than the tail of the dog. Be prepared that if the number that the adjuster comes back with you don't agree with, you've got the evidence. Maybe you have a friend that can do an assessment that does some of this kind of work. It's always good to try to gather as much information as you can when your home is damaged after one of these storms, that you know, you can be prepared with the information to talk to the insurance company.
I know in my block particularly, we have a lot of roof damage.
Right.
So what I was trying to do was just find my other neighbors. Okay, you got estimates, let's try to compare it. Is that the smart thing to do, or should I just solely focus on mine?
You know, it never hurts to get as many estimates as you can. One of the things that I deal with generally when dealing with home damage is, what happens if I have a roof that's a little older? What happens if my roof is brand new? Is there a difference? Is there a difference with how much one company charges versus another company? You know, the reality is that a lot of times an insurance company will prorate your roof. So if you have an old roof that is about to need a roof replacement, regardless of whether you didn't notice any damage on your roof is not going to have the same adjusted value as someone who has a brand new roof. Or maybe you have a tin roof that was damaged versus a metal roof that was damaged versus somebody who had a shingled roof. Well, maybe it costs more for a metal roof. You know, and so you won't get as big a value. Other companies may charge less than, you know, one company, but it may not be any worse. You know, what you need to do is make sure you read the reviews about that company. Make sure that that company has a business license. Make sure that they have insurance in case they mess up on your house. Those are things that you need to do your research when you hire anyone to do work on your house.
And I'm so glad you said that, because after the storm, that's when I see a whole bunch of people coming in their cars, passing out the cards about the roof damage as well. We do have a couple callers. Let's see. The first person on the line is Fred. Good morning, Fred. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Go ahead with your question.
On my title indeed, when we bought the house, my wife and I included me, her, and my son's name on it.
Okay.
So is there anything else that we would need to do to be sure that after we pass away that he gets the house?
You know, that's an excellent question, Fred. One thing that you need to be aware of, whenever you purchase a house, you can have multiple owners of that house. You need to make sure that the deed is a joint tenancy with the right of survivorship. And what that means is that you can own a house as a joint tenant, meaning all three of you own the property. But if you don't have a joint tenancy with the right of survivorship, then your share of ownership may have to pass through probate. In other words, it may have to go through a will and then go through the court systems. But what a joint tenancy with the right of survivorship does is that whenever either of the three of you pass away, your share automatically goes to the other two people that are on the title. So that when the last person passes away, then you will have a situation where the last person alive owns the title outright.
Well, I hope that helped you, Fred. We do have another caller on the line. This is Ramona. Good morning, Ramona.
Good morning.
Go ahead with your question.
Yes, my mom passed away in August of 23, and she left her property to all of us 4 daughters. Only one of us, and she's in Missouri. She was in Missouri, and only one daughter lives in Missouri. So the other 3 of us, what are our responsibilities to our individual states for owning 1/4 of a property in Missouri?
Okay, well, if y'all all own it jointly, then it's got to be probated jointly. It doesn't matter whether you live in another state. You all own 1/4 share of that particular property, if I read what you were saying right. So what that means is that if you end up selling the property, or one of you wants to force a sale of the property, then whatever the proceeds would be split equally amongst the 4 of you. In other words, the 3 of you can't get together, sell the property, split it 3 ways, and move on, because the person that would have the 4th share would still be entitled to the proceeds. Sorry about your mama.
I know that my heart goes out to her, definitely. Well, thank you so much, Fred and Ramona, for those calls. Thank you so much for coming on. We always love having you.
Nice to be here.
And don't forget, you can always check out their blog where you can get more of these questions answered right there. Well, we'll be right back.